Hello, viewers. You're welcome to our very own program, Mentor Me.
My name is Benedict Alabi Alabi. I'm from Ikere, Osun State of Nigeria. I'm born 58 years ago to a Catholic family of late Mr. John Oyemi Alabi and late Mrs. Eunice Alabi. My father was a civil servant. My mother, a trader. In our home, we're 9 in number as in children. I'm number 8. In our home, it's a home full of love and also discipline. In my house, I can't remember any day we woke up and we're not up to 20 in that house. My mother was very accommodating. Extended family, neighbors, they all come to live with us. And in that home, every child has a daily duty, care to attend to. Whether you are a child of the home, or you are just living with us, or you are even a maid. And also, everybody seems to be equal and respected. And we have a decorum of behavior that you must follow. Respect for each other is one of the major factors, and also respect for yourself. Hard working is something you don't trade with when you are in my mother's home. Most of the things we get wrong in Nigeria today start from home. Parents have lacked in their duties. To say more about myself, I started my education in Ikere. I had my primary education there. I started my secondary education there before I left for Lagos with my brother, who is late now. After that, I came back to Osun, then Oyo State, where I had my A-levels in the war. Then I went to Benedict, where I had an honorary national diploma in banking. From there, I went to Kuse University, where I had a BSc in banking and finance. But I want to say that I qualified as a chartered banker before age of 21. And that put me ahead of my colleagues. Those days, when you party, when you play, you don't forget your primary role, which was education, while you were in school. There's no party that took place in school that I wasn't there. At the same time, there was no class I missed. It was a balancing act because I knew I must pass. Then I left. I started working in a bank. From there, I worked in banking industry for 22 years. At a point, I decided, I said, yes, I will be on my own. And why do I choose to be on my own? There's no gainsaying that even when I was a student, I had to augment the money we call monthly allowance that was given to me. I love good life, and I know it costs money. So when I collect my monthly allowance from Lagos, my brother in Lagos, I would travel through the route of Abeokuta. I go there to buy adire. When I get to school, there's a tailor by the door of the school. There, I would take the adire, sew it into like 6, 7 tops, different designs, which I sell to my fellow students. 13 naira was my monthly allowance, but by the time I converted it into adire, it's around to 120, 150. So I will expect 1 or 2 of them to pay. As they are paying me, I have money to run my life in the campus. So I start business from there. And because I know that the only way to have money is to work, to create it. So when I started my banking career, my first salary, by tradition of the Yorubas, I don't know what other cultures have that. You take it to your home, to your mom, and said, this is my first salary. She took it, prayed over it, disputed with everybody in the family. And the night she called me, she said, my son, jovially, my mother is a very jovial person. She said, you are not a rich man. But you are keeping other people's money, not your own money. But I have the following advice for you. One, whatever they are doing in the office to get to the top, besides stealing or backbiting, like education, training, hard work, late work, please do it. So that your case won't be like a case of a farmer that went to the farm. He said, all I need is cutlass. And I go there, and they're home. You will need to come back home to pick that. So that will be a regret of, I should have known. She said, two, in all you are doing, remember and put in your left hand. You always say to keep your left hand, so don't forget, you don't need to hit. He said, the office, no matter how much they love you or how much you love the office, one day you must depart. And if it's not death that separates you, you have to go on a journey of your own. So you have in your mind every day that the bus stop is a journey of your own. So any step you are taking, always remember that one day you must be on your own. So when I go back in the industry, I was there. I left I was in Society General Bank. I left to go off to join some people to form what they call Building Society those days. And we all know what happened in the early 90s, 92 to 94, when there was a distress in the finance, they call finance houses. But we are all put together, but I was in Building Society. And after some few years, then I started my business because I wasn't ready to go back to industry already, a director and owners. So, but when I noticed that I had to go back to industry because of need of funds, was I adding some business of people and they were not as truthful as they should be. So I went back to the industry. When I go back to industry, after 9 years, the journey wasn't the same. I saw that a lot of values have been lost. When we were in the industry initially, in my first entry to the bank industry, we work like families. We work with respect and regard for each other. We all know the rules. Everybody live within their means. Everybody respect each other. We create a bond. When I go back there, it was like dog hit dog, like they say Yoruba, in Nigeria Palace. And it was all pressure for nothing. Try to achieve what's unachievable. A deceptive attitude. So I told myself, I'm going to survive this. Not because I'm not capable to survive it. I was there and successfully I got promotions, I did well. I told myself, I want to live the next 5 years. Yeah, it took me 7 years to live. So when I left, when I was there, I was busy looking for what can I do for myself. So I looked at the area of services. I saw that Nigeria, we like big things, but we don't know how to keep them, how to maintain them. We have structures that are not being maintained. And when you travel overseas, I'm more fascinated when I see they said this building was built in 1912, and it's looking as if it was built yesterday. Meanwhile, our own house we built 5 years ago. It's like it was 50 years old. So, and also when you're in the office, you have all these irritants. AC is not working, generator is not working, you go to office, it's like you have to sit down from the bank that has resources. So I saw a need in that area, even though I don't like running after our workers. So I said, well, there's opportunity here. That's how I got into what you call facility management. Yeah, it was rewarding. So I left the industry on my own. I resigned. I said, let me go and face this. And initially, it was hard, difficult. When I say it was hard and difficult, is that in this part of the world, all manners of bad things are thrown at you. You are the one that to decide which side you want to be. When I got on my own, the resources I have, preparation I made, I work for organizations who, at the end of the day, want to pay my bills. They want to pay the bills. And it was frustrating. And I took bank facility, it was there hanging. And I told myself, I said, I'm not discouraged. I have to press on with what I need to do. I'm happy to tell you that consistency is very important. Perseverance to achieve anything in life. I was there trying to juggle things, writing proposals. In fact, the last money I collected for the company, used to pay my house rent. I had to use to go and do a beautiful proposal to show what I have done and I can do as a company. And on a single day, I got 2 contracts. Announcement of 2 contracts of our bidding for a long time. And that became a turning point. Well, I'm happy it happened because I knew how dedicated I was with that job. A lot of my personnel left. A lot of people close to you thought you are not serious. But I knew that all I need to do is that, yes, you need to keep on pushing. One lesson I learned from that is that don't rely on anybody. Rely on your inner self. What you think you can do and what you believe in. That I did. And I didn't know anybody in the 2 organizations that sent me their letters. One of them is UBA, Bank for Africa. And that one started Chartered Bank the same day. Asking me to come become their facility manager. I'm talking about a company. And there the company started picking up. Barely 1 month after, Nigeria LNG also gave us a contract to manage their office. And from there, the story has been a success story. So for the purpose of our interaction here, I want to let our youth know that the only assured way of life that guarantees joy always is to consistencies. Hard working, good manners, and perseverance. There's no shortcut to success. The Bible says a corrupt parent, father, puts his family at risk. No matter how rich you are in friendly manners, when something happens to you, it affects your children. I have information and insight of a lot of people, parents, who are living on bribes and corruptions, money stolen before the advent of Buhari into administration. A person earning 250,000 per month, which when you put together, that's 3 million per annum. Sending children overseas, where you pay 10, 12 million per annum as fee. And when the tap of corruption was plugged, the children become something else. Girls turn to harlots, wars overseas. Some lost their confidence, which was built on their parents' ability to meet their needs. But those who can maintain it, because they have a flow of income of which they generated, their children are today happy and more proud of their parents. So if you are living on falsehood, it's only a temporary thing. Go and look at history. You don't need to go too far. Nigeria here, we have all those 419s that are being big names. Where are they today? Some of them made it into politics anyway, and they use that to cover up. But the nemesis keep catching up with them. We have incidents of people who have gone as being a governor and being caught off what they did 30 years ago. And they were young. So we need to know that honesty will always pay. But hard work has no substitute. Dedication, yes. There will be trouble time. There will be time to tarry. There will be time that you think all is lost. But always know that it's important that you hold fast to whatever you believe. Further, some always think that education is irrelevant. What is education? All you need is money. No. Yoruba says that no matter how much you have, it's even biblical, the book of Sirach, that the way the Bible puts it, it says that riches is good, but the lettered, that people that are educated, control them. No matter how much you have today, a judge can jail you.
Wow.
And it's a judge because he went to school. No matter how rich you are today, the head of state or governors of your state have authority over your life. What puts you on that table is education, knowledge, exposure. Education is not about going to school and coming out of school. It is what you learn from it. It builds your confidence. It allows you to break bounds that ordinarily you won't dream of doing because you can read, you can understand it. Issues are clearer to you. I keep telling people, when you go to school, especially first degree, it's not that the certificate is what you need to live in your life. It's an adaptation training. Make you trainable, make you understand issues, and make you fit into society proper. So you must have education. You don't have to have masters, like we gather certificate together in this country for nothing, just because we want to show that I read. No, let your mind be educated. Let your mind be educated. If all you have is HND, HND, BSc, whatever you want to do, open yourself to that education. Learn the basis. That's why we have general studies in schools. It's want you to know your environment. You don't want to like to know how things work. The psychology of life, the philosophy of life. So education is very important. There's no substitute to it.
What was your best job while growing up? What did you do? What was assigned to you? What was assigned to you? What was the best job? And how did it? Is there a learning curve for what you used to do while growing up in shaping who you are today?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
When we were growing up in my house, everybody have their assignments. Some are to fetch water for the whole house. Some are to clean the environment. I would call sweeping the environment. My mother has a bakery. A bakery, funny enough, named after me, Oluwega Bakery. And most of us, when you finish your daily work, you go to the bakery to work. And it's one of the regrets I have in life. Everybody that passes through our homes can bake bread from mixing of flour to putting in the oven and bringing it out. But I love to sleep. So I love to sleep. So what I did was I choose to fetch water for everybody in the house so that I can have more time to sleep. And that avoided me not going to bakery every day. Meanwhile, I'm the one running the bakery. The finances of the bakery from the age of 9, I've been in charge. How do they do their accounting? How do they do everything? And even I want a contract for them. I'll come to that. My whole cure was to ensure that everybody has water to bath, everybody have water to drink in their house. So fill all the pots, fill all the fillables for people to have water. And your question makes me remember my mom for one thing, which is part of the thing we're talking about today. I have never seen my mother seated idle. I can tell you, if I see my mother at 7 in the morning, I can tell you what she has done. She will have woken up before she woke all of us up to do her prayers. If it's not weekend, she's going for morning mass. She's said her rosary. She will have gone to bakery to know what they are doing there. If you see my mother at home a minute after 10 o'clock, it's either one of her children rather, is sick and she needs to attend to that, or she has a very important meeting at home. My mother is more like what we call Alajapa. She did so many works, that's the contracts, what they call your sand. She sells beer. And because of my interest in the bakery, And also because I'm interested in what my mother does. All of us have time, days we have to attend shops. One day in my secondary school in Ikiri, I did my year 1, year 2 there. In the assembly, the principal announced that they want to change the supply of bread to the school. And that they are looking for which of the bakery to use. So immediately we left the assembly. I said, go to my class, I went to the principal's office. I said, I want to see the principal. They said, why? I said, I want to see. When I saw the principal, I greeted him. I said, that in the assembly you made an announcement. He said, yes. I said, you are looking for a bakery, a baker. That's a bakery. I said, we have bakery. He said, no, we're not looking for a bread seller. We're looking for who has a bakery. I said, we have the biggest bakery in the community. He said, is that right? Ask the secretary. I said, yeah, ask my name. I said, yes, you have a bakery. And that's how I got the contract for the school. Meanwhile, the man that was being proposed to have the bakery, to have the supply, when he heard that I went to my mom, came to my mom, I was begging her that they give this one to us now. My mother said, no, I didn't look for the contractor. It's your son here that got the auto contract. So if you say you should take it, take it. I said, how can I say to take it? I already spoke to the principal and he's expecting it. That's how we run the bakery. So then I was just barely 12 years old. So what I'm saying in essence is that you let your children know what you do and let them also be part of it. My mother will not tell you what she has. She will tell you what she does, so that you know that it's true that anything you see, they are the result of what she does. So that helped me to know that opportunity can come for you at any place. If I wasn't listening at the assembly, I would have heard that being mentioned. And if I didn't take the bold step to go and see the principal, we won't have an increase in our bakery activities. Because that gives us a guaranteed sales. Every day or twice a week, we must take this to the school and they buy it. So all this I've mentioned so far shapes my life. I studied banking to the peak of it.
What would you say is your turning point? What was the turning point for you in life that was shaping who you have become today?
My first turnaround point was at Society General Bank. I was an officer, very junior officer of the bank. And I was one doing the errand for the bank at Central Bank of Nigeria. Then, one day, I was CBN, there was a letter for us for the management of Treasury. I took the letter, I don't know what the content was. So I gave to the secretary of my head of division. When she opened it, it was a trainee in America. I dropped it. Then, few weeks after, I was asked that I've been nominated to go for that training. Meanwhile, I had a friend, who's still my friend today, Pastor Ade Achineshirai, who was there working in HR. So he came to me and said, what have you given to your guy to eat? I said, why? He said, he nominated you for training to America. And the head of training, who's under the human resources, I had to query him and said, this training is for managers and above. And my level to managers were like 6 levels. I'm above. And there are other senior officers in that department. Please change your nomination. He said, the man answered him and said that the nomination is not for your comment, but your treatment only. Now, we ask the question, why did he nominate me? When the man joined us, then as a General Bank, there was board crisis. Late Senator Olusegun Saraki, the father of Bukola Saraki, was the chairman and major owner of the bank. But central bank said he couldn't be a director of a bank again for some reasons on the day. So he nominated his son, the former Senate president, who then was a small boy just leaving school, in his 25 thereabouts, to represent him on the board as executive vice chairman. So he, being a doctor, brought his friends to come and help him run the bank. So one of his friends, after our divisional head, Yomi Akiade, that is his name. He came from Citibank, 28 years old, as divisional head, I like to call it deputy general manager position. The people next to him are two managers, 48, 44. Whenever these guys come to office, or anytime we see them, people are always jittery, try to dodge, to be serious-minded. But one thing is that I know I do my work every time. So even if let's assume I'm late for work and I see him on the stair, good morning, sir. I'll be greeting him when he's not seeing me. When other people are dodging, because I happen to hide, because I'll do what is right. And this man came with the impression that people working at SGBN, they are old schools. They don't really know much about the work they are doing. So a few times we have some challenges, like we want some informations. When they ask them, people will also come back to my table. Because I was one heading what we call also first rows. That's our foreign accounts, all the foreign accounts of the bank. So they all come to me for this, for that, this one. So there was this particular one, he made a personal request from me that, and said, he wants this thing, I don't say personal to me, I don't say direct to me. He asked my immediate supervisor that he will need this document in 3 weeks' time. Meanwhile, the document is something we do every time. So when he gave it to me, the following day, it was delivered to him. So I was surprised. I said, we have it. It can't be for 3 weeks. So anytime they have issues or they come to me, he call me a man with golden finger, unknown to him. To him, because he sees that everything always come back to my desk. So I think in his own bid to compensate me for what he see a star coming up, he transferred me from that desk to go and become a foreign exchange dealer for the bank. So I go there. Then he had, I think why he chose that training for me. Then he had head of year party. I wasn't happy with the bank. Why? All my colleagues that were coming together have been promoted because most of them are boot lickers, and I won't lick any boots. So, but I wasn't happy. So when he chose me as best staff of the year, it was a Friday, and it was towards Christmas period. So I found my friends. Normally when it's 4, I leave the office because I was still doing my exams, the Chartered Bank exams. I would go with my friends, and but that particular day it wasn't for any exams. It was for us to go and enjoy. So when I came out to work on Monday, they invited me, and they said they wanted to see me. So I wanted to see him, and I was angry that I chose as best staff. Even at the party of this running day, I said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know about it." He left. Following day, I went to meet him. I said, "I want to thank you yesterday for what you did for me by giving me, chose me as the best staff of the year. But I'm not happy." He said, "Why?" I said, "My colleagues have been promoted twice, and I'm not lucky at my desk. So I don't know why." And he said some things to me that day. He said, I said, I used the word, I said, and I don't think it's fair. The guy laughed. He said, "Boyega," I said, "Who tell you that life is fair?" That life, sometimes you walk, you do not eat. Sometimes you do not walk, you eat. See, promotion is a prerogative of management. How else will I say appreciate your work? I transfer you to Treasury as dealer. I choose as best staff of the year. I don't really request to God. I'll be doing your work. So he gave me one book. Say, "This is one of my most treacherous books. Take." And I left him. It was barely a week. The training came. So he asked me to go for training. What is the trust of what I'm saying? It did it not because he lost my face, because he saw my contribution to the department, to the division. Now, how does it become a turning point? When I was in Treasury, I was supposed to be an FS dealer, but I'm always interested also in money market. And also see how they do their conciliation. See, I'm calling for a conciliation background. The moment I was transferred to Treasury, some people felt it's because I know him before, which wasn't true. And they decided to take vacation so that I can be frustrated. Then I had a very good friend who was then a treasurer of a bank, Nigbe Merchant Bank, Pastor Wale Akinyosun. He's based in Chicago now. We were always together because he used his car to take me to class. We were doing the CIBN together. So mainly all of them left. They wanted to frustrate my effort. So I told him these are challenges. So he took me through how they do their processes in their own bank. So I came back home and changed the system, which is better than our own system. Our own actually was becoming a cake. Now, some set of people came. They said they wanted to set up a building society. And they didn't come to approach me. They came to approach the guy that was on that desk before I came. It was almost suffocation. So I met them and said, what do you guys want? They said, they are looking for support. I said, it's on vacation. I said, anything I can do for you? They said, no. I said, but actually, they're looking for a versatile person to be their treasurer. We have been interested. Let's look at it. I was interested anyway. Let's look at it. So, following day, they brought me a lot of interview. It was supposed to be a Sunday evening. I wasn't sure I should attend or not attend. Mortgage bank just coming up. I'm comfortable here. But I want to tell you that was turning point in my life. I was drinking with my friends and I said, where we are drinking, everybody that knows Akoka, we know Abuleoja to Nike, just, you guys won't check it. The interviews in Nike, and I just said, oh boys, this is who they are coming. Let me story and just stroll out. So I went there for an interview and I was engaged. My salary was 3 times what I was earning, offered. Well, attractive a young man. I put my head into it. There are a lot of story about that, but the fact is that that's why I left the proper banking and started in the mortgage bank institutions. And from there, I had my own with some of my friends. That became a turning point in my life. That I'm now in this management cadre, very high management cadre, being a director, being a owners, and from there, the journey has not been the same. Now, where I am today is another manifestation of God's hands. I've told you how my business had itches as it came up, but being in politics was never my dream. Though I was a student activist, our activism wasn't the one they do these days. I was the treasurer of what we call Oyo State Federation of Oyo State Students. I was the treasurer, and so that was the only information I had. Then I was the vice president of the JSI International when I was in school. I joined them at the age of 18. By 19, I was made the vice president. That had a lot of intrigues. Because I contested with people. I was in OND1. I contested with people who had already in HND1. Not only HND1, they've worked. They are older than me. And I was able to win the election. What was the trick I used? Just like I said, if you address your mind to what you want to do, it's easier in life to get things done. I noticed that I can't compete with them. One, I was the youngest in the society. Two, the major players, ladies in the association, they are their dear friends. So how I'm going to survive? I didn't intend to contest. Somebody came to me and said, go and contest. I said, no. I said, no, contest, I support you. And if that's a contest, doesn't have anybody with him. Anyway, he said, I should contest now. It's a challenge. Let me contest. So now, and I know how to win. How do I win? So, and I decided a strategy. Using what word used, they say, human beings are captured by what? Flattery. So that's how I became the GSI International Vice President. So that's how far I've gone in politics. That far I've gone in politics. So yeah, I can also say when I was in A-levels, I was chosen to be the food prefect. I was chosen because of discipline. Like I always say, use the word discipline. In my room, they said, do not plug water. If you need water, go to the kitchen to bath. But you know boys will always be boys. They plug water. So I always tell them, pray, if you are plugging water, pray that they don't ask me who plug the water. Because if you ask me, because the only the house master will sometimes notice when his thing flips, start coming from us. If you can say, who plug water here? If you ask me, answer now. Because you knew why doing it. And so those are things they saw, and when there was time for it was A-levels to them to choose the interim executive, I was chosen to be the food prefect because food is very major. No sir. Now coming to real politics, how do I get involved? I do tell people that my sister was Speaker of Federal House of Assembly, Ms. Ete. I go to Abuja every month by the call of my work there in the bank. But I don't know our office whether the door is black or yellow. I never branch there. Because why? I don't like politics. I don't want to see politicians. I don't think I need it from them. If for my business, I don't think I've done any government contract. No. The one we try, we just that we just they are just chaps. So, but I passionate about my environment, my people, my community. So I pray often for Nigeria. I pray for my state. I pray for my town Ikiri. I was doing one of the prayer session. I had just finished praying. You know, after praying, you expect to sit down, hear some words, meditate on your words. And I heard the word, your government will soon leave. Why not you? I said, me? This must be from devil. So I ignored it. The next time, like 3 days after that, I did my prayers again. I heard the same voice. So I said, well, if that is what God wants, but I don't think it's really, maybe it's my mind that wants it, but deceive itself. So things started unfold until I decided, I said, why am I afraid to go into politics? We keep complaining at every joint and clubs and say, Nigerians, the leaders are not doing well, But none of us will be the leader. So without that, talk about them. I mean, isn't it? Yes, so I said, well, let me sit down. What are the fears? So I do what we call SWOT analysis. Why cannot I not be? What are my fears? So I identify some 4 major points and examine them. And I came to the conclusion and said, no, it's doable. The 4 points are: 1, if you want to be the governor of a state, you must be popular. Who know you in Osun State? You must have juju for security. I don't have any juju. You must have money, deep pocket. I don't have the money to prosecute this idea. Then the issue of security. So I look at it. I say, 1, that's popular. I've been a marketer all my life. It's a product that is different. Now you're marketing a person, not a product. Not. So I said, no, that shouldn't be a problem. You can cross that bridge. It's defining your market organ. I said, there's no power like God. I keep singing it. And I'm now afraid of somebody have to join me, or I used to join somebody. That means my trust in God is not absolute. I said, no, so that's not a portion. About security, it can be arranged. You know, you get people around you, pay for the authority that can be. I said, no problem. About money, I said, people have shown interest in politics that we have supported, not because we want anything from them, just to say, okay, if you are going there, support you. And so that's goodwill. And also, what arms are we talking about here? So I sat down and I said, do one or two calculations. And I come to a position that it's doable. And that's how I now decided to go into politics. I sat down, I said, let me master how I want to go about it. And that was my commitment into politics. So, in summary, the turning point is that opportunity given to me as SGPN to be in the management level. By going for training to start with high and lows, and also when I now get into my own private business, that's the mortgage institution, where I can now excel, because it is because I was transferred to treasury. That's why I will be to get into that and to be head out to say, come and be our treasurer, which was the turning point in my life.
Who are those people that you would say have shaped your life, who have mentored you in the past?
Thank you. Let me start for myself. Okay. People should have their heroes. People you look up to and say, oh, I want to be like A or B. But I want to say it here with all humility that who I choose to be my hero was our Lord Jesus Christ. Why do I say so? When I was in A-levels, I did what we call religious studies, which make us going through what we call the Synoptic Gospels. Those are the 4 Gospels. Compare their sets, understand it. And I see that in the life of our Lord Jesus Christ, it's a complete life of discipline, of hard work, of love, commitment to people, and of peace. So when you ask yourself, what do you look for in life? You look for peace. And in getting peace, you must be ready to give peace yourself. And giving peace, you must do extra. So coming from the background of my mom, who put us in the way of the Lord, who I see as an epitome of what dedication is to her household and how she was able to be self-dependent. So my mom was my mentor because she always sits us down to tell us what our father was doing when they were together, and also we can see what she was doing herself. And now knowing what Jesus Christ is as a man of authority, a man who was also of humility combined. And I see humility in Christ with authority be experienced, and his commitment to purpose. And so I took that. Because human beings, you can see is your mentor. You don't know their stories. A lot of people who have money as their mentors. How do they get that money? Nobody knows. I was reading a magazine. He said, why doesn't riches reach 3rd generations? He said, because people that made the first money don't document it. How many can document how they made their money? I can count for every penny I have today. And can be verified. How many people can say that in Nigeria? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So values, my mom, and that value has been my guiding principle, and that combined with that of Christ that I studied in the Bible, become my mentor. Now come to how do I give out to the community? How do I make people become better than me? I know I know people have challenges, and that's why they can hardly achieve what they want to achieve in life. That's why we have a foundation called Osun Ajosi Foundation. What we do there, one, we mentor people on attitude. We mentor people on how to look for employment. How prepared are you? They will prepare you. They will circulate your CV. So we also do vocational training for people so that they can be on their own. So everybody that's lucky to say, I can rough it. Some people cannot rough it. They need the push. We do push them. But lastly is that in our community, Yoruba says everybody holds the child. It's not home by only the parents. Even though these days, if you beat your neighbor's child, it's a problem. In those days, when you beat your neighbor's child, when the child comes, they beat him again. To learn that, what have you done that they didn't beat you? But these days, it's become a police case. Why did you beat my child? But still in that, under that understanding, I believe that at any point in time, there's opportunity to mentor, to correct, to encourage, to support anybody around me. I should be able to do that. But if now I ask, who are the people that call me often to say, how do I go forward? It's interesting to say that majority of them are people older than me. 5 years, 10 years, I say, "Good guy, I know you tell me the truth. Good guy, I'm in this fix. What do you think? Good guy, you know I can call." And that glads my heart. It means I'm doing something right. And that's all I can say. What you are doing is very noble. And I want you to see it more as a community relation thing than business. When you see that way, you will see how it will grow. And I want to be more passionate about it. It's what we need in our community. A time came when the government of Nigeria has to establish what we call National Reorientation Agency because of the need for it. It never served its purpose. But if all of us make concerted effort like we are doing now, with our very, very small corners, it will become a national thing. So I'm happy, and I want to thank the organization of BFAX for what you are doing. And I want you to know that anyhow I can support you, I'll be so willing. The youth, they say it's our tomorrow, even though they say they are for today, but they are still for our tomorrow. Because you must learn to crawl before you can run. And I'll be willing to support the organization. But by and large, you are on a noble course. Thank you.
Wow, that was a beautiful ride, and come to a conclusion of today's edition of Mentor Me. I hope you've learned a lot. I hope you really learned a lot. So until we come your way next time, I still remain your host, Jude Ogbonaya Alo from Air TV. Stay tuned.